If you're an autistic adult, or maybe you have an autistic person in your life, you might have heard of the term autistic regression. You may have wondered what it actually means. You may have even experienced it yourself. But what's really happening? Is it permanent? And most importantly, how do you manage it? Let's go. Welcome, my stars of Orion. Thank you so much for watching. I'm orionkelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. What is autistic regression? Well, in general terms, autistic regression in adults refers to a noticeable decline in daily functioning, in your coping mechanisms, in your energy levels. Now, this can manifest in many different ways. A few examples. You may find a sharp increase in your sensory sensitivities. So, as autistic people, sensory sensitivities are a daily struggle. Okay, but if you're autistic, you know, just like me, there's good days and there's bad days. There's some days that are slightly more tolerable than others. So, days where you seem like you're struggling with noise levels or types of sounds or triggers that can usually be tolerated can be a sign of autistic regression. Another sign, you feel like you've completely lost the ability to communicate? A loss of communication abilities, even a difficulty articulating thoughts. This happens to me so often when I feel like I'm in this kind of burnout regression period. I feel like I don't know the talky talk stuff. This is a trigger and experience you should take note of rather than just saying, oh no, I'm autistic and I'm getting older, I must be getting dementia. Wow. Thanks so much for bringing up the vibe of the video. What is your problem? Another way autistic regression can manifest in adults is a drop in executive functioning. Okay, so executive function are a set of cognitive skills. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disability condition. Cognitive skills are things you learn. Hello, they're going to be tricky. But when you start to forget completing daily tasks, that you would probably not have to remember usually, or just struggling to navigate executive functioning things like planning, these types of things, when it becomes all too much, another possible manifestation. And how about this one? You have an increased need for alone time, an increased need to be by yourself. This can be, now this sounds, Ryan, this is burnout. Guess what? Burnout and autistic regression are very much connected. Now, to be clear, regression doesn't mean you've become more autistic, right? Or that your autism gets worse as you age. Let's be very clear. Autism is a lifelong condition. You are born autistic and you die autistic. The point is it's lifelong. Do not expect as you get older for autism to get better, or do not be told and accept that as you get older, it will just get worse. There will be challenges, but there'll also be good days and things that you'll be better at. Okay, so I hope that makes it clear. What it reflects, in fact, is these external or internal factors that are overwhelming you, that are getting in the way of you accessing your resources. So basically, it's like a red flag. It's your autistic brain throwing up a flare or waving the red flag saying, I need a break. Please stop. I need some me time. What causes autistic regression in adults? So the causes of autistic regression can be quite complex. And I think, frankly, they're kind of interconnected. But we can definitely look at some key factors. The first one, I've already touched on this, burnout. I'm referring to autistic burnout. Yes, autistic burnout is one of the leading causes of regression. What is autistic burnout? Well, it's something that is triggered in autistic people after prolonged periods of stress, prolonged periods of sensory overload, of social overload, of unmet expectations, of masking to fit into a world that will never allow us to fit in. Over time, these will trigger meltdowns and shutdowns. And over a prolonged period of time, it will trigger autistic burnout. You are completely starved. You are empty. Your tank of physical and emotional energy is empty. You have depleted all reserves. Why? Okay, so neurotypical burnout. Let's talk about non-autistic people. Neurotypical burnout, my understanding is it results from basically, it's referred to as like you've overworked. You've just overdone it. So it's kind of more of a specific thing. Some people might refer to it in an athletic sense, others in a workplace sense, right? Not so much about navigating the world like an autistic person. Autistic burnout is deeply tied to the effort of navigating a neurotypical world as a neurodivergent person, navigating a planet not designed for us and our brain. So masking, right? You have to be constantly on. To mask, that means to suppress your true, authentic, autistic self. We're masking ourselves, we're suppressing ourselves to fit in. So that means we have to be constantly vigilant, looking around, working out what is going to be required in this situation to suppress the real us. There is no authenticity in this experience. We are, in effect, playing a fake role to make you, a neurotypical person, feel more comfortable. So look at this as one of the key causes of regression based on the fact that you have experienced something so profound, and it is really horrible to go through as an autistic person, such as autistic burnout. Okay, so you know when you're experiencing autistic burnout. See, meltdowns and shutdowns can feel horrible, but they come and go, they pass. Burnout is an exhaustion that doesn't just go away or passes. It doesn't improve because you sleep more. You start to think, hang on, I don't even know if I have the skills I have. Did I forget how to do this? Your ability to perform tasks that you could easily do, right? That you know you can easily do. You've been able to manage these types of things is seemingly gone, like you've lost it. You start to feel crazy, like what? I know how to do this. What do you mean? What's happening here? And what does that do? You feel frustrated. You feel angry. You are irritable. You are anxious. These are the signs of experiencing burnout. Now, because of burnout, you will experience autistic regression because you seemingly, how come I can't communicate the way I usually can, or manage these tasks the way I usually can, or navigate these things the way I usually can? Because you've been put into burnout from a prolonged period of going through all these things, and therefore you're experiencing regression. See, autistic regression, in my opinion, is par for the course for autistic adults. Now, if you're a parent or a partner, a professional autistic adult, this is not something you want to hear. You don't want to hear that you're going to go through regular periods of autistic regression where basically you'll be like a shell of yourself and you won't be able to fix it and you won't know why. You don't want to hear that. But what I can tell you is as I go through the causes, I'm in effect giving you a checklist of the things that you want to minimize, mitigate, avoid. See, you want to mitigate or minimize or avoid burnout to avoid regression. What's another thing you want to avoid? Well, another cause of autistic regression is masking, even unmasking. So let's start with masking. If you're going to suppress your true, authentic autistic self and your autistic traits, if you're going to avoid stimming, self-soothing, if you're going to avoid the things that you do through masking, right? You may force yourself to try and be like them, mimic their neurotypical behaviors, their neurotypical communication styles to try and fit in to the expectations placed upon you by a neurotypical society. You are going to burn out real quick. So suppressing your true autistic self, masking, has a major impact on your ability to really avert or experience autistic regression. The problem with masking is, and I want to be clear, everyone has to mask, right? I'm not saying masking isn't appropriate in certain contexts. Okay, so it helps you navigate life in certain contexts. Okay, cool. And yeah, it may seem like the right thing to do in the moment, in the short term. Why? Well, it seems like the right thing to do, Orion, because in the short term or in this moment, I'm going to fit in, or people won't make fun of me or reject me or bully me. Yes, but in the long term, it is mentally and physically draining. No one can mask forever. Every autistic person will have their threshold they pass where they can no longer mask. And unfortunately, it'll usually happen around safe people who have to take have to cop the brunt. You open up that Coke bottle after it's been shaken and right? This is the problem. So yeah, I get it. It's useful sometimes, but autistic people still can fall into the trap of thinking it's useful every time because the world don't like me. So it makes more sense in the moment. Short-term gain, but it's long-term pain. That's the reverse of what you want to strive for in life, right? I think unmasking after diagnosis. We talk about this. For us, late diagnosed autistic adults, we didn't have a childhood to come to grips with it. We were a person struggling in life, floundering in life, given a diagnosis to tell us we're not bad or broken, we're different, and therefore thinking, okay, great. So who are we? Who were we? Who should we be now? It's a rite of passage for late diagnosed autistic adults to work out, how do I unmask? Do I want to unmask? Because a lot of people, it doesn't matter if you have a bit of paper or a diagnosis, no one cares. They're just going to say, I don't care. You weren't autistic yesterday, so why should you be today? Why should I accept this new person today when I liked yesterday's person? That's unmasking. That's the challenge of unmasking. Initially, there's a honeymoon period. It can feel very freeing. I get to be myself. I'm not bad or broken. I'm autistic. I can be myself. I can open up and be authentic. I can unmask. How does that go for you? It feels really freeing. It feels bloody fantastic. But how does that go for you? It starts to blow up in our faces. It disorientates us. Well, hang on. I've got a reason why I'm different and I'm allowing myself to be the real me, but this doesn't seem to be going very well. Like the rest of the world aren't on the same page. Of course they aren't. They don't want to be on the same page. They want you to be on the page where you pretend to be like them to keep them comfortable. When you start to do those things that are more authentically you, you're way more visible. People are going to look at you and go, wow, who are you? You have regressed as a person. You've gone backwards as a person. You used to be nice or like me, and now you're very different, and it's kind of weird and awkward. You have regressed as a person. Put it on the checklist of things to think about to avoid even getting to burnout and regression. Another one to talk about is the stress that comes with big life transitions, big changes. Autistic people don't like these kind of things. We like to have safe environments in a world that doesn't seem safe. You may move. You may have new job, new partner, new friends. You may experience things in life that come with big change. So the death of a loved one. All these things can trigger regression because these transitions, which are big, major transitions to navigate, add further layers of unpredictability and stress. They overwhelm our ability to cope with the daily struggles thrown at us. So our coping mechanisms aren't firing. Another cause, chronic sensory overload. Your sensory overload issues are going to pile up over time. We have them every day. That's normal because you're autistic. But for this kind of stuff, you're not. But these are experiences of autistic people. Sensory overload, it happens when our autistic brain simply cannot process excessive or conflicting or triggering sensory input. It's different for everyone. Now, over time, these sensory triggers, right, become persistent, prolonged. You are going to shut down. You are going to melt down. That's going to lead to burnout. You are going to experience autistic regression. Autistic people continue to put themselves through these things. And what's the answer, Orion? What did I just say? Maybe you should try to not mask as much, but understand there's important periods to not unmask, and you have to balance it. Maybe you should speak up when you're constantly surrounding yourself with sensory triggers when they can be avoided. These are things that you actually have to do things for yourself. Chronic sensory overload is a big one because this is something you can mitigate on a daily basis. Emotional trauma, even as big as PTSD or CPTSD, these types of things, whether they're related to your relationships, your work, past abuse, these things, they may come up, they may be past. They will exacerbate your authentic autistic self. As in, they will exacerbate the things that make you autistic to other people, like, you're wiggling and jiggling or you're stimming lots, echolalia. That's going to cause regression because we process trauma differently. I've done a whole video on trauma and how we look at trauma differently and loss. Heightened sensitivities make us potentially more vulnerable to the impact of trauma, which is going to lead to burnout and regression. Social isolation, lack of support. So it's the fine line we walk. Oh man, I hate social interaction. But when you're isolated, when you're lonely, when you lack support, it impacts you as an autistic person. When you feel unsupported, isolated, lonely, it sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes can make us feel sad, depressed even, anxious. We might even just self-loathe ourselves, hate ourselves. It can impact our mental health. That leads to regression because many autistic people, absolutely many autistic people as they become adults in life will face way more loneliness than they ever thought because in school, you're kind of around people. As you get older, you're more and more isolated. There's barriers in society. There's utter, outdated misunderstandings of you, how you are. No one cares about the needs of autistic people. And this leads to meltdowns, shutdowns, burnout, and autistic regression. What about just getting sick? Yeah, physical illness. You may have chronic health issues. So health problems, chronic pain, gut issues, fatigue, tiredness, these are all common in autistic people. Now, these exacerbate autistic regression because when you're feeling like this, you're going to feel more in the realm of dysregulation, burnout, shutdown, meltdown, regression, the extra burden out of all the things we've talked about, plus managing health issues, health conditions, is taking another layer of energy and ability and coping away from you. And this is the last one before we move on, okay? I want to help you navigate. This is the last one I want to talk about, and this is about unrealistic expectations or even like perfectionism. Autistic people, in my opinion, place massive amounts of pressure on ourselves to fit in, to meet the expectations set by a neurotypical society, even our own self-imposed neurotypical standards. As in, if we impose like neurotypical expectations on ourselves, now, regardless of how you look at it, this is going to mentally fatigue you. When you're mentally fatigued, you are more prone to burnout and regression because you can no longer reach, let alone sustain these types of expectations. You can't maintain the facade of perfectionism, which I get as an autistic person. If you can't do it perfect or right, don't do it. If I can't do something right, perfect in my mind, then I quit. I don't want to do it. I want to continue it. I'm not interested. The irony is there is no such thing as perfect. Like, we're obsessed with it. It doesn't exist. Here we go, my friends. I've got some practical strategies to help you navigate autistic regression. Let's start with rest and recovery. So autistic regression, like autistic burnout, is a signal that your brain, your body, your soul needs a rest, needs a break, needs a charge, needs to get plugged in. Allow yourself time to recharge. Don't put guilt on yourself because, like other people who don't need that time, you do. Okay, cool. You're different. You're a person. I don't care what they need. You should only care about what you need in these moments. You have to understand that when you feel regression, your brain is saying, hello, I need a break. I need a recharge. You need to block out time in your day to have that recharge ability. How do you recharge? Is it through like low demand passions and interests? Or is it listening to music? Is it watching your favorite show for the 20th time? Is it going for a walk outside? Whatever that is, you need to really embrace that. Another practical strategy, Adjust your environment. Look around you, my friends. Create spaces that support your sensory and emotional needs. People think, oh yeah, whatever, dude. No, seriously, if you have a safe place and there's parts of your safe place that you don't think are actually safe, you don't have a safe place, okay? If you're overwhelmed by noise, you need to work out how you can minimize that. If it's, smells, it doesn't matter what it is. People talking, technical stuff, humming, buzzing, light sensitivity. Look at the things that you can do that can help you navigate out of these environmental triggers. Another practical strategy to navigate autistic regression is about rebuilding your daily routines. Okay, so you've clearly lost the ability to maintain your daily routines because you're experiencing autistic regression. So you want to start small. You want to focus, and we talk about this a lot, on small, manageable steps. So you want to focus on one by one, manageable tasks each day and slowly build up and celebrate each win until you get that momentum to gradually rebuild your daily routines. So focusing on one thing. That one thing might be just eating and drinking, or just having a shower, brushing your teeth, right? Or just relaxing on the couch with your favorite show. And flying on from that, another strategy is to build a predictable routine. You thrive on it, but some autistic people still live a very unpredictable life and wonder why they're constantly in burnout and regression. Routines provide you structure, my friends. Sameness, plans, routines provide autistic people structure and safety and comfort and regulation. And guess what? They reduce the bad stuff, reduce decision-making fatigue. It's like when they say, this person here, this really rich person or smart person wears the exact same outfit every day or has the exact same thing for lunch every day, right? Well, you might think, well, that's kind of weird. It's all about decision-making. Why would you blow your decision-making skills, energy, ability by working out what you're going to wear? You haven't even walked out the door to start the day and you've already made all these decisions. What food am I going to take? What am I going to wear? Right? Where am I going to go for lunch? What am I going to do? It doesn't make any sense. So you have to build a predictable routine. It helps alleviate that stress and uncertainty. So you might want to have a day-by-day schedule or a weekly schedule. You consistently wake up at a certain time. You eat breakfast. You have your rest times, your meal times. Everything's planned out. There might be apps for that. Or you just write it down, put it on a calendar, put it in your phone, devices. Whatever it is you need to stay on track with these predictable routines without relying on your own memory, without using too much of your memory. But this practical strategy to navigate your way through autistic regression is one of my favorites. Explore some of your low demand passions. Autistic people can have just a small amount of passions and interests rather than 700 hobbies, okay? Some passions and interests are easier than others. For example, I have a passion and interest of content creation. If I'm in burnout, if I'm experiencing regression, it's not something I probably want to do or even could do. But I also have a passion for criminal investigation. I definitely can sit on the couch and enjoy some criminal investigation content, right? It's enjoyable. It's low pressure. It gives me a mental, emotional, even physical rest and reset. For you, it might be gardening. Some people like artwork, painting, knitting, these types of things. You might like to game. Just be clear though, when it starts to become like gaming or with other people, if it becomes competitive or you have to do well, this will start to trigger things like perfectionism and performance, and that's not going to help you out of regression. I just wanted to make that clear. People forget this. Oh, what do you like to do the most? Gaming. Why? I don't know. I just like it. Okay, cool. What do you need to do right now? I don't know. I need to relax and reset. I'm just exhausted. Great. What are you going to do? Game. Oh, okay, cool. What's the point? Oh, to win, to do really well, to help other people, to do this, to do that. Are you serious? That's not the right choice. So low demand passions are different to just me saying, here's a strategy. Focus on your passions. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying explore your low demand passions. Another strategy, set some boundaries, my friends, to protect your energy, your core, my friends. How do you do that? How do you protect your energy core? I've got a word for you. No. In my opinion, no is a hard word to say for autistic people. Because why? Why, Orion? No one accepts us. We don't fit in. What are we going to do? People please. You have to say no to requests, to things that you know are going to drain you or overextend you when you have nothing left. This has to make sense, surely. Yes, say no to unnecessary social events and gatherings. Ask other people to help you with particular tasks you don't necessarily need to do yourself. Limit the hours you use to work, to do hard, draining things. And for goodness sake, stop overcommitting as an autistic person. What is it with the overcommitment and autistic people? It's because no one accepts us. So if we people please, they will. Guess what, champ? They still don't. So you might as well bloody well say no. I mean, you could use some scripts, social scripts. Hey, I'd really love to help you. But no, maybe it'd make more sense with that sounds like something that would be really great to do, but, I just need to rest right now. That might work well. But I would more want to go, let me think. No. Here's a social script for you. Oh, yeah. How about no? That's it. You can buy my social scripts online now. And no one. Oh, man. Next strategy to navigate autistic regression is about advocating for yourself. Now, you're probably bad at this. That's okay. So let's just break it down. Why does it sound so intense? Advocate. Okay, so basically what you're saying is you're speaking up for what you need. Is it at work, school, home, wherever? What do you need to help you reduce your stress and dysregulation and triggers? That's advocacy, guys. Talk up, speak up. Here's what I need to help me not be triggered, not become dysregulated, not be so stressed and anxious. Here's what I need to thrive in this world, here at work, home, school, friends, wherever. That's advocacy. Now, sure, I can give you examples at work, but I've done videos on that. And a lot of them, your boss is just going to say no anyway. Hey, boss, could I do different hours? Or could I have a space for an area where it's not so bright or noisy? Right? No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, why is that? Oh, I don't want to. You realize it's kind of the law. I mean, I'm got a medically diagnosed disability. That doesn't matter. I don't care about the law. See, the problem is your boss, your friends, your family, they're not struggling with the word we just said we can't say, right? Could you help me thrive as an autistic person? No. Use it back, my friends. Use it back. Bottom line is articulate, convey, express what you need to thrive in life confidently, but, and it's just my advice, do it in a kind of passionately kind way, not an aggressively passionate way, if that makes sense. Is there a difference? I don't know. Focusing on your nutrition, the things you put in your mouth, focusing on staying hydrated, these are super important because regression, burnout, often worsens when you aren't meeting those physical needs, obviously. And by the same token, it's hard to meet those physical needs when you are in regression and burnout. You have to work out a way to still eat regularly. It doesn't have to be big, to still drink regularly. When I say drink, I mean, some form of water, please, if possible. It's going to help you not only maintain, but I guess increase those energy levels, those focus levels. If it's got to be different than normal, great. Simplify the meals you eat, or what do you call them? Prepackaged, prepared meals, or I don't know, you just get stuff out of the freezer, order in, get takeaway, whatever it is. Set reminders, you should have a shower now. You should have your drunk water, these kind of things. Because when you focus on these little things, and I know they sound big, but they're little. Have a drink, have something to eat, anything, right? These things are going to help you navigate your way out of regression and burnout. You can't just keep piling on more challenges to get out by not even looking after yourself. Also, it's about talking to your loved ones. We talked about self-advocacy, and I more mean broadly, but this particular one is really about helping your loved ones, the people closest to you, family, friends, whoever that may be, actually get what is happening, right? So look, I'm sorry. I've been triggered so many times that I'm burnt out. I've pushed the threshold, and because of I'm burnt out, I'm really struggling to human stuff. I'm really struggling to be a person. I'm really struggling at this people thing. You could call it autistic regression, whatever you want to call it, whatever helps you. But from my point of view, the things that I usually can do to some degree, they're just gone. I've lost them. It's like I've woken up and I've lost my ability to communicate. The skills I learned are gone. Nothing is at my fingertips. Does that make sense? Can you understand where I'm coming from? That's why I am how I am right now. These kind of conversations with your loved ones are honestly going to help you. Or maybe you just want to send them this video because it's bloody awesome. Okay, let's move on. The final practical strategy, my friend, to navigate through autistic regression is to actually reframe how you perceive it. Your perspective on yourself. Oh my goodness, I'm in burnout again. I've lost all my skills and abilities. Autistic regression. What an idiot. What a failure. What a moron. What a horrible person I am. Seriously? Come on, man. You have to reframe that. No, you're not. You're an autistic person in a neurotypical world. You have been triggered on a minute-by-minute basis. The fact you're still alive is an absolute mystery to most people. I mean, honestly, we are still here. You're not a failure. Because everything seems like it's gone, I can't talk, I can't do anything, I feel like a useless human being. You're not. You're not. It's simply a sign that you as an autistic person have passed a threshold and you need to take care of yourself. It's simple as that. It is a medically diagnosed condition. And you have passed through the threshold where your brain has, in effect, sent out a warning sign and disconnected from reality. It needs a chance to stop and rest and recover. This is not a failure. This is a manifestation of being autistic, of being different. I don't know how you're going to help get yourself around that point. I wish I could help you. I don't believe you'll believe me when I say you're not a failure, you're autistic, but I'm just saying it in the hope that sometime it will sink in because it's true. Experiencing burnout and regression does not make you a failure. It makes you an autistic person in a neurotypical world. Now, something commonly associated with autistic regression is autistic rage, which is something I explore in detail in the first video of this bloody awesome playlist, Autism and Dysregulation. And it's going to be the perfect place for you to go right now.